Welcome everyone. So basically we are going to learn about derivative, which is the second part of the chapter limits and derivatives of class 11. So before starting and before solving numericals, I am going to discuss some basic concepts of derivatives. So as we already discussed limit, so basically derivatives is also some extensions of limit. So to define a derivative, I will again have x and y plane, Cartesian plane, and here I am going to have some arbitrary curve. This is an arbitrary curve which is y equal to fx. So to define a derivative in this function, that is y equal to fx, I at any point like x equal to a. So when I am going to write derivative of y equal to fx function, I can write it as like that, dy by dx, or I can write d of dx, which is a operator in the bracket fx, or I can write it as f dash x. So these are some kind of nomenclatures we normally use to define derivative of any function. So to write derivative of y equal to fx, I will write limit So this is the basic formula of derivative, which means that when I am going to write a derivative of any function, I need to evaluate the function, that is y equal to fx, at a point f of a plus h, which is a nearby point. If I am denoting this is x equal to a, then I am getting a point nearby to x equal to a, that is a plus h. And again I am going to evaluate this function f of x at exactly at x equal to a. Then this value, that is h is a very small value. So h is a very small value, and I am going to evaluate this function f of x at a plus h and a, and I am going to subtract these two and divide by h. So now when I am going to expand this expression, I am going to get the derivative of any function. So what is the basic physical meaning or geometrical meaning of this expression? So to understand the basic geometrical meaning of this expression, let's suppose this is a function, any arbitrary function. Now here I am going to enlarge this view so that you can clearly see what I am writing. So these two are x equal to a and x equal to a plus h. In reality they are not so far, but I am going to enlarge this view so that you can clearly see what I am going to write. And here I am going to get the value of fx at x equal to a, and I am going to write it as fa. And again I am going to write the value, functional value of fx at a plus h as a plus function a plus h. So now I am going to join these 2 points which are on this curve by a straight line. Now I have already said these 2 points are connected by a straight line. So the basic problem is that now I am going to determine what is the slope of this red line. So to determine slope of this red line, we know that to determine a slope, I need to have the 2 coordinates of these 2 lines. So the basic expression for writing a slope of any line, so if I am going to write the slope of this line, I can write, and I am writing a slope equal to y2 minus y1 x2 minus x1. So now from this basic formula I can derive the slope of this dead line. So to determine, here the x coordinate will be a plus h and the y coordinate will be f of a plus h. Again here the functional coordinate will be a comma f of a. So to determine the slope I can join this. I will draw a perpendicular here and this is a triangle. So to determine this triangle I am denoting it with an angle theta. Now to get the slope I am going to write tan theta. I am going to write tan theta equal to BC by AC. So here this is BC and this is AC and this is the theta. So BC from this figure will be, this is total, this total is f of AH and this is f of A. So if I am going to subtract from f of A plus H, then I am going to get BC, which will be equal to A plus H minus f of A, and AC, which I am going to get, this is f of A plus H, this is this is x equal to A plus H, this is x equal to A. So I am getting this difference as A plus H minus A. So when I am simplifying this, then I am getting A plus H minus f of A divided by H, which is equal to tan theta. And we know tan theta is the slope of this line AB. So this is in a way slope of AB. So you can see this expression is resembles similar to this expression. So here this gap which I am getting is H. Now I am already told you that H is a very small value. Like this is an example of the value of H. So this value will be very small. This value will be nearer to H tends to 0. So when H tends to 0, this AB will still denote the slope of this curve fx, but that will be at a particular point x equal to A. So x equal to A and x equal to A plus H will converge to a single point. So thus we can say that at x equal to A, if I am going to write the slope of that function, then I can use this expression to find out the function, and this is the basic geometrical concept of derivative at any function f of x. So now I am going to solve some problem of derivatives to illustrate this basic concept. So now, as I have already discussed the theory, to give you a better idea of what is derivative, I am going to take an example which is similar to the theory, which is find out the derivative at x equal to 2 of the function fx equal to 3x. Whenever you are finding a derivative of any function, first you need to be careful about what is the point. Here x equal to 2 is the point at which we need to find out the value of derivative, and the function will also be very important for us. So to find out the derivative, I have already written this formula, basic formula of derivative. So here A is the in this expression A is the point at which we are finding we are finding out the derivative. In this example, x equal to 2 is the point, so I can write it as h tends to 0, f of 2 plus h f of 2 divided by h. Here fx equal to 3x. So if I write f of 2, this will be 3 into 2, which is 6. And again I can write f of 2 plus h, which is 3 into 2 plus h, which I can write 6 plus 3h. So now I am going to substitute these values in this expression. So limit h tends to 0, h f of 2 plus h equal to 6 plus 3h, and f of 2 equal to 6. So when I am cancelling 6 and 6, I am getting 3h and h. If I can cancel h and h, then I can have the value 3. So this is the derivative of f of x equal to 3x at x equal to this value is 3. So this is the simple example, which from this you can also understand the theory of derivative and what is the meaning of derivative. So now again you can try another problem of the similar nature. Here I am going to determine the derivative of these two will vary every time. So find the derivative at x equal to 0 of the function fx equal to sin x. So now similarly I can write dy by dx limit h. So here a is the point at which we are going to have the derivative, which is x equal to 0. So this is 0 plus h minus 0 by h, which is f of h. This is 0, f of 0 and h. Here fx is sin x. So f of h will also be sin h, and f of 0, which is sin of 0, will be 0. So I can write limit h tends to 0, f of h is equal to sin h. This is f of 0, which is 0, divided by h. Now this is sin h by h. This is a formula we already discussed in the chapter limit, and this value will be always equal to 1. So the derivative of this function at x equal to 0 will have value 1. So this is again another similar problem, which from this I can say that what is the theory of derivative and what you need to keep in mind when you are trying to find out the derivative. First of all, you need to have the basic formulas of limit in your hand, and also you need to carefully determine at which point and of which function you are going to find out derivative. So now I am going to discuss some typical problems of derivative. So now this is a problem of derivative. Before evaluating this problem, you can see here that we are not giving any point at which we are going to find the derivative, and also the function is given. So now from here you can also have two methods. Like from the first method, you can evaluate it from like that also. When we are given that there are no any point at which they are asking us about the derivative, then we can assume any point at which we can find out the derivative. Here the main reason is that why we are not given the point is that they want us to find out the derivative in terms of x only. So you can have the point f a equal to x also here, and if you substitute, then you can have the answer of the derivative. Now, but the main thing is that when you are encountering this kind of problem, you need to have the formula to derive to find out the derivative. So the formula is that if y is equal to x to the power n, then dy by dx is n into x to the power n minus 1. So this is a very basic formula, and you can derive this formula from this basic example also, this basic formula also. So the thing is that in derivative you need to remember some formula of sin x, cos x, sec x, tan x, and many other kind of formula. And many a times students think that from where we are getting this kind of formula. So we are getting this formula from this expression only. You can derive each and every formula I am writing here from this expression, but here I am not going to derive every formula. You can derive on your own also. So now from this formula I can find out the value of x square, f of x square. Therefore I can write it as method 2. This is using formula. So this is y equal to x square. Okay. So dy by dx equal to, see here x is a variable and n is the exponent. So in the formula we are having n into x to the power n minus 1. So here 2 is the exponent and x is the variable. So I am going to write 2 into x to the power 2 minus 1. So this will be 2x to the power 1, which will be equal to twice x. So this is a basic example. You can have again another question like this is another problem. So when you are going to write the formula, here 10 is the exponent, x is the variable. So you are going to write 10 into x to the power 10 minus 1. So it will be 10 x 9. So 10 into 10 x to the power 9 will be the answer. Similarly, I can write in negative term also. Here n can be positive, negative, anything. Like I can write f of x equal to 1 by root x. So this is again simple. I can write it as minus 1 by 2. Then I can write 1 by 2 x 1 by 2. So I can write minus half. So again I can find out the formula. Find out the value. So using this formula I can have this value, n can be anything. It has to be a real, not complex, but you can have positive, negative, any value, or you can say n can be integer, or n can be rational number, will be the proper word to use here, rational number. So now again I will so here I am going to write some formulas of derivative, and using this formula you can find out the derivative of any function. So the basic formulas are here y of fx, so dy I have already write this formula, so this is n minus 1. Similarly, there are some other formulas like d by dx of sin x, which is cos x. Again I can write d by dx of cos x, which will be minus of sin x. Again d by dx of tan x, which will be sec square x. D by dx of log x will be x 1 by x. So there are many formulas, but I am not going to write every formula here. You can find out the formulas from the book of NCERT also, but I am going to solve some simple problems from the miscellaneous exercise of NCERT, chapter 13. So here y equal to sine x plus 1. So I will write dy by dx, which will be dy by dx sine of x plus 1. When I am having sine of x plus 1, I need to see here what is sine x. Sine x equal to cos x. But here x is present, not x plus 1. So basically what we need to do here is, first of all, let's suppose I am having x here, not x plus 1. Then I can write it as, let's assume. So I can assume x plus 1 as x, and I can write cos of x plus 1. Then I will again differentiate this x plus 1. This is called chain rule of differentiation. So the basic funda is that you can also substitute this value and you can find out the derivative, but you can always think like, I am having x equal to x plus 1 here. So I am going to think in my mind that x equal to 1 is x, not equal to x. I am just thinking that x plus 1 is x, not equal to x. So when I am having sine of x plus 1, I can write sine cos of x plus 1. As like I am writing sine of x equal to cos of x. Similarly, I can write sine of x plus 1 equal to cos of x plus 1. But the thing is that here x plus 1 is not present. So what I am going to do is that, as here x plus 1 is here, so I am going to differentiate it with dy by dx x plus 1. So this is called chain rule. I am going to solve some further numericals to illustrate this this method of solving. So this will be x plus 1. This will be 1 plus 0. So the answer will be x plus 1. So this is an example of differentiation using chain rule. Chain rule is the most used rule in differentiation. You need to have some good grasp of this rule. Similarly, I can give you another example. Cos of x pi by 8. So here again I am having cos of x minus pi by 8. So what I am going to do, I am going to write d by dx of cos of x minus pi by 8. When I am writing x cos of x minus pi by 8, what I am going to think in my mind is that x minus pi by 8 is not x minus pi by 8, it is x, only x, such that I can use this formula. What I am thinking in my mind is only to have use of some of these formulas only. So I can write cos of x minus pi by 8 equal to cos of x equal to minus of sin x. So I can write minus of sin of x minus pi by 8. But I am here only assuming x minus pi by 8 as x. So I need to differentiate it again. So it will be sin of x minus pi by 8. This will be 1 and this will be 0. So the answer will be sin of x minus pi by 8. So this will be the answer. Similarly, I can give you some examples of chain rule using some basic formulas of derivative. Now I am going to give you an example of a little bit difficult problem of derivative. Now here, before using this, before solving this problem, I need to have some formula ready for a by b type of form. That is, this is called u by v form. So when I am going to solve this problem, I will always write. So this is the formula of using this formula. I can I will explain this formula from example only. So what I am going to write here is that I have cos of x 1 plus sin x. So what I am going to write? I am going to write 1 plus sin x whole square here in the denominator. In the numerator I will write 1 plus sin of x here. And then I am going to differentiate first the term which is present in the numerator, which is cos of x. So I am going to differentiate it like cos of x. Now again I am going to take cos of x and I am going to differentiate the term which is present in the denominator, that is 1 plus sin x. So the basic rule is that whenever you are having some expression which are in the form of UV form, that is in a fraction kind of form, you first need to have square this term which is present in the denominator, which is 1 plus sin x whole square. Then at the first you have to differentiate the term present in the numerator, that is cos of x. Then you need to differentiate 1 plus sin x. So this is the formula. So I can write 1 plus sin x whole square, 1 plus sin x, then into differentiation of cos x is minus of sin x. This is 0, this is cos of x. So when I am simplifying this will be 1 minus of sin x, minus of sin square x, cos of this is 0, so cos square x, 1 minus sin square x. So this will be sin square x plus cos square x will be 1. So I can write sin x minus 1 plus sin x whole square. So I can take the common of minus. So I can write 1 plus sin x, 1 plus sin x whole square. So at the end I can write 1 by 1 plus sin x. So this is the answer to this problem. So you need to remember this formula. This is not a kind of formula, but you need to have the skill to use this formula in the expressions only. If you remember the formula, you can solve any kind of problem. But when you apply this formula regularly again and again, you will get the hang of how to solve the UV type of formulas also only. So this is the types of problems we normally encounter in the differentiation. But as I already told you in the last class, limit is a very tricky chapter, but derivative is not like that. It is very simple. You always need to remember the formulas only. Then you can solve any kind of problem. The basic problem the student found here in applying chain formula and in applying UV formula. So if you know how to use chain formula, then you can solve any kind of problem you will find in the derivative chapter. So here I will conclude the chapter 13 of NCERT. So if you have any doubt regarding whatever I teach in the class, you can always comment it down below, and I am going to answer each and every one of your queries. And in the next class I am going to start the application of derivative, so which is the basic application of this limit and derivative chapter, which is in the class 12. So I think you have got the concept, and meet you in the next class. Thank you.